Hello, I wanted to remind you about some ways where you can get feedback in this class on how well you're doing on assignments and discussion boards. I often tell you to go to the discussion board to look at something, but I wanted to give you some quick tips on how to navigate it well. You can always look up discussions here on the tab and look up current discussions. Ones that are closed will start coming down below, and the introductions, I believe, are closed at this point. But when you open up this discussion board, you may notice there's 156 people that have posted on this board. That may seem overwhelming. So how do you find what you're looking for? Well, obviously you want to look for your name to find your feedback. So if I type in my name, up comes just my responses on this discussion board. And then I can click View in Discussion to read what that was in reference to and scroll back up. When I respond to these on the message board, you'll notice that I give feedback for all groups of posts, but sometimes they end up all the way down at the bottom. So just make sure that you go through and take a look at yours. If I tell you in your discussion feedback, make sure that you read what someone else has been writing about this topic. Then if I type in that person's name, let's say Christine, you can see what Christine wrote here about spicy foods causing heartburn. So she started this discussion. I might refer you back to the beginning since she did a great job on this topic. And so you're going to want to make sure you type in her name to view it in the discussion and then the feedback that I provide down below for her, right? All right. So that's how you can navigate easily in the discussions to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be. In this first discussion forum, I wanted to make sure that you used a reliable source of nutrition information, and some of you did not. So if you didn't get graded 100% on that section of the rubric, you want to make sure that you go back and review that in Chapter 1. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. If you can't remember what the rubric is, remember for each assignment, I give you a rubric of what I want you to do and how you're graded on something. This is the rubric for the GI tract discussion, and I wanted you to reply to another student if they've already started a particular topic. So, for instance, Christine started a topic and did a nice job on that, and I wanted people to then follow suit. If you started your own thread without reading Christine's, then you were docked a point. Right? Or if you didn't give a reliable source, you're docked a point. Make sure and open up these rubrics in your grade book so that you can see how you were graded on a particular discussion topic. That way you could be more successful on future discussion topics. And of course, again, my feedback is mostly within the discussion as well. So if I did tell you to go back and review Chapter 1, some of you might say, how do I get to Chapter 1? Well, if you haven't been collapsing these, you'll notice you can get back to everything, and scrolling is kind of a pain. So after week 1, you can scroll up. Chapter 1, one of the topics was nutrition research. So I suggest if you did not get full credit, that you go back and review where do you get nutrition information, and review some of these supplements. All of these little underlined items are hyperlinks to more references for you. And I really suggest that you read those if you didn't receive full credit for your citation. So again, going back to the modules, when you're looking for things, you can always collapse these up when you feel like you've finished a week, so that you're just looking at the week that you're doing or a week that is ahead. We're on week 5 now of the semester, moving on quickly to week 6. Okay. So other things you might want to know about are your grades for a particular assignment. Some students were confused how they were corrected on the diet analysis project. So if you go to your grades and you click on analysis, you'll see this little link. This is what you submitted. And if you click View Feedback over here, up will come what you submitted and then my comments to you in that area. Now, if you're still confused, what do those comments mean? Why did she grade me down? Again, you can click on the rubric and it will give you an idea of why you were graded based on points in certain categories or in certain areas. Okay, and if I asked you to resubmit an assignment because maybe something happened, some goofy thing like you printed the wrong reports or something, you can do that using this resubmit link here. Okay, I hope that was helpful in letting you know a little bit more about how to navigate. The last thing I'm going to talk about is quizzes. Your upcoming quizzes are here. Previous quizzes are down below. You can always go back to a module to review quiz feedback. I didn't complete this quiz as a student, so it's not going to let me do anything or take it. But normally you are able to go back and review kind of what the quiz is. Let's see, I'm going to just submit it blank here. And you should be able to now review feedback down below. So if for some reason you weren't able to see it previously, make sure you go back to all of your quizzes and review the right answers below. Okay, I hope you learned a little bit more about feedback.